Upgrades. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Now, this film here was a film that's been circled on my calendar the moment I got the schedule for it. And I did it based just off seeing a picture. And I saw a picture of the lead actor and then the synopsis. And I said, wow, this could be interesting. This one is called I Don't Know Who You Are. It is directed, and I think this is his directorial debut by M.H. Murray. And here's a quick synopsis. After a sexual assault, a Toronto musician, Benjamin, must pull together the money for HIV prevention PEP treatment in the event that he has been exposed to the virus, while also avoiding the man he's just started dating. Short on cash and determined to solve the problem himself, Benjamin spends a frantic weekend trying to raise $900 he needs in the 72-hour window for the PrEP to work. Now, here's the cast here. It's only going to name 3 people in the cast that I really feel stuck out. One, Mark Clennon, who is also the writer of this project, and the lead playing Benjamin, Anthony Diaz, who plays Malcolm, and Manuel, who plays Ariel. She's phenomenal in this film. But let's start off by saying the subject matter is definitely a tough one. It's tough to wrap your head around sexual assault from a male queer perspective on film, because we don't get to see it done well often. It falls into too many cliches when people attempt to do it. But with this film here, they decided to focus way more on Benjamin, the person before the assault, and Benjamin, the person after the assault, to give you a clear picture of what something like this can do. Also, the healthcare system in Canada, for a lot of people who would not know just how possibly difficult, or from the film's perspective, how difficult it is to get said medicines that can actually help, not necessarily save someone's life, but help from changing dramatically someone's life here. So as we're introduced to Benjamin, he is this musician who's just broken up with a longtime love interest. Now he's dating Malcolm, and we get to see in the beginning just of how their relationship moves, as Benjamin is eager to take his relationship with Malcolm to the next level. On a certain night, it does not happen, which leads to Benjamin going to one of his ex-boyfriend's parties and getting extremely intoxicated and walking home. And then this is where we get the sexual assault takes place, and how that completely changes Benjamin, as he is extremely bubbly at the beginning of this film. Mark does an amazing job of just showing just how much light and enjoyment is in Benjamin's life before this assault takes place. Right after the assault, it's a group of scenes after the assault of Benjamin getting home, cleaning himself, and then frantically cleaning his entire apartment. And for me, it was symbolic of him saying, okay, I can't clean fully myself, my mindset from what happened, so I need to clean everything around me. It is an amazingly quiet, powerful moment in this film. And then his best friend Ariel comes to see him, and then that's when we get the gist of him needing to get tested, him worrying about what can happen, and then the system in place, I'm assuming, to actually get PrEP treatment from Canada. It leaves a lot of questions here, and I know it's going to leave questions for people who hear that Canada has free healthcare, because that's what we always hear. And while that is true, here they say this is something that's not paid for by the government insurance. And the franticness of him attempting to gather this money to pay for this treatment is when this movie, in a way, leans into the clichéness of his situation here. Because as he's doing all of this, as he only tells Ariel, who, again, Nate is phenomenal in this film. I wish we would have gotten more scenes between her and Benjamin, because those scenes were magic. It was amazing what a friendship can do to aid someone in this type of situation here. And those scenes work brilliantly. But as we get Benjamin trying to do everything humanly possible to get the money, that's when it feels like it leans a little too close to like a Lifetime movie, where from an audience perspective, you can almost predict beat by beat by beat what's going to happen next with Benjamin. And part of it is that I want to say they wanted to make this film from a perspective of when Benjamin goes through this assault, that he's no longer in a mindset to make rational decisions. So while we see as an audience some of these decisions being made way before they happen, I think from a character's perspective, it's supposed to be that way, because these are things that are kind of out of character for him. As we saw before the assault take place and him going to his ex-boyfriend's party where he does get intoxicated, it's because of the interaction with his ex-boyfriend and his ex-boyfriend's new boyfriend that leads to him to do this. So we kind of see he's possibly a anxiety stress drinker. And then that's what leads to some reckless behavior down the line in the film. And while, again, it feels like cliche moments, I think that's supposed to be the case, because this is supposed to be out the norm for Benjamin, and this is his response to it. So that's why this film works so well. One, Mark's performance is great. It is definitely something that you need to see. And while him doing everything humanly possible to get this money up for this treatment, again, feels so cliche that I know a lot of people would dismiss it. I think it's still something that you need to see and put in perspective, that this is supposed to be someone who's trying to do everything humanly possible in their mind to survive. Now, what I really did like about this film is that the stigmatism with being HIV positive is really dismissed in this film, and dismissed in a positive way, meaning that it's not a death sentence. It's not something that's going to kill you. Like when Benjamin goes to get tested, the person who does his test is HIV positive. And he's basically telling him, like, no, this is not the end. Like, even if the test came back positive, you can still lead a normal life. It's a small message, but a highly important message for people to understand. I think the whole point of this film possibly could be, why is this medicine that could prevent changing people's lives so difficult to get? I think that's a great message for this film. I wish they would have leaned a little bit more into it, leaning more to the systematic breakdowns of why this wouldn't be paid for by the government, especially in the instance of a sexual assault. But we also see that Benjamin is not necessarily freely willing to talk about his assault with anybody. And I did love that part, because that comes with, unfortunately, being a man and not being comfortable enough, or feeling like because you're a man, this is something you should not have to go through. And you see that trepidation in Benjamin of him even wanting to talk about it. But the few people that he do let into it, we can see him break. And in those moments, we fully understand why the reckless behavior happens later on in the film for him. But, so don't give away anything in the film that I want you all to see. But, wow. It's a really deep film. You ever watch something and you realize that while you're talking about it, just how powerful the message is. And the message is powerful because I think this message helps a group of people that can feel isolated. Not just necessarily the queer LGBTQ plus community, but people in general who may go through these assaults and aren't comfortable enough to talk about it. And respecting that, while also understanding that you have to be there for them through that moment so they can actually get the help that they need. It's one of the key moments with Ariel and Benjamin in this film, as he gives her so much pushback on her help. And yet and still, she still sticks with him no matter what, to make sure her friend is okay. And that's a great message to have for a film, not only a film like this, but a film in general that is supposed to be about information, about prevention of certain things, just about making sure that you notice your surroundings, making sure that you're not going for outside sources to get the love and affection that you're pandering for from the person that you want to be with. It's a lot of deep messages in it, but that's what makes this film extremely interesting. And again, name of the film is I Don't Know Who You Are, brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10. This is a powerful film. This is a film that after I left the screening, I thought, okay, this is good, but you know, the cliche moments stuck with me a little bit, and I said, I wanted more out the film. As I processed it more, I said, wow, I really got a lot out of it, even during this review as I'm talking about it, and I start processing it. Like, you get more and more out of it when you realize the subtleness of the approach of the film. And that's what I'm hoping people catch up on too. It's just how subtle this film is in delivering this message, because it's not over the top. And because of that, some people may think it's too cliche because it's not over the top. But boy, when it hits you, it's going to hit you well, and it's going to give you a lot to think about. So check it out when you can. What's the release date for it? I could not begin to tell you because I just saw it at its world premiere last night at the festival. But when you get to check it out, let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.